And SMB does continue right here. My name is Rita Cavaniero. You're watching Smart 24 TV in case you just joined in. And we're going to be speaking to you as you get back to us on our social media platforms. That is through commenting on different platforms on Facebook, on our website, as well as our YouTube. And we're going to be streaming, or we're actually streaming live on YouTube. You can as well continue to watch us from your different corners. And it's time for our talk. We're going to be assessing the oil and gas sector or industry around the country. And I have got an expert for you today. Let him introduce himself to us and to you, then we kick it from there. Robert, please, if you could introduce yourself this time, and then we continue.
Yeah, thank you, Rita. My name is Robert Tumwesi Baganda, and I'm the coordinator for Publish What You Pay Uganda. Publish What You Pay is a coalition of non-government organizations and individuals who are promoting transparency and accountability in extractive sector. It is comprised of about 40 organizations, but we are also a family of the global network, which is comprised of 700 members globally, who also work on transparency and accountability in oil and gas and also mining. Okay. That is the extractive sector. Basically that's what we do. So we've been working on issues of oil and gas since the inception, since when the oil activity started in 2006. But we've also been working on issues of mining. Okay. So we have
so you are the right person to talk to in this particular.
Yes, we have an overview, a wide overview. If you could just give it to us,
what is the current overview? What has been the observation since you started your work, and also since the mining programs and processes began, or the extraction began? What has been the overview? What is there to talk to us about?
I think in our view as civil society, and I'll talk also as a Ugandan, since the process of oil and gas started, the exploration since started around 2006. Very many processes have been going on because in 2009 the oil and gas policy was passed, which opened now on how the sector is managed, so between 2006 to 2001, you know, the companies, the oil companies started coming to do exploration. You know, during that time there was Heritage, there was Taro. They did exploration and discovered vast quantities of oil and gas, especially in the Albertine Graben. Yeah, so from that time, you know, the arrangement that has been used in Uganda is the production sharing agreements. So they signed production sharing agreements with the government of Uganda, and this means the process that Uganda is using is that the companies bring in the money to do the exploration, and the agreement is that when production starts, the companies will recoup back what they have put in all of the works, and after getting their money, the government on the profits, government will take 75%, and the companies will take 25%.
Okay,
so that has been the sharing, the production sharing agreements.
Okay, are there any loopholes or any challenges you have identified as an organization or even as a Ugandan?
Yes, the question of the production sharing agreements, most of them have not been accessible by the public.
Okay.
So the public has not been able to, apart from some few, but most of the agreements are not in the public. So we have not been able to assess, to analyze those agreements that the government signed with companies. So up to now, I can say that there is some degree of opaqueness in the sector, especially when it comes to the issue of the production sharing agreements that the government has been signing with companies. So that's one of the challenges on our part that we have been seeing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on that particular agreement, when you say the government is taking 75%, is that a fair one compared to what the companies are taking? How would we tackle this one as government?
I think that is a fair deal, but the only challenge is that you know, there have not been a limit.
Okay.
Because, for example, if we are doing an exploration on a particular well, what has not come out is that this company should not spend more than this. So sometimes, I'm not saying that they are doing it, but maybe there would be a situation where they exaggerate the costs, and when we start getting money, we find they are taking most of the money. Because for us, we have been saying that these costs should be approved by Parliament before the government signs. Now, for example, if the company is making a work plan, they are saying, we are going to spend this much money on workers, we are going to spend this much money on exploration activities, and then those costs should be going to Parliament
for discussion.
For evaluation.
Okay.
To find out if really those costs are really
worthy and fair.
Yeah, because the only bad deal might come when we start producing, and the companies are taking everything, because they will say, for us we put in this much money, and there is no seal. So there should be a way of approvals on different organs of government.
Lacking and which
I think is still lacking, and in the future we might get a LOD. Okay. But otherwise, that deal of 75% on the profits is a fair deal, because the companies are putting in their money anyway. Yeah, so
very well for production.
Yeah.
And what is there for the local people? Because now let us first address challenges or issues or even concerns with the local people, first from the Alberton region, first from the Hoima regions where, you know, there are oil hopes around. What opportunities do you think someone can grab, or are there still any opportunities as we speak?
Yes, the opportunities, you know, as a result of the oil activities, you know, in that area, for example, land used to be cheap. But now an acre of land goes between 8 to 10 million in Bunyoro. So that's an opportunity. So the opportunities have been, the land is now valuable in Bunyoro. And I think if you go to Hoima, you find there is some business going on. Sometimes you find the hotels are full. So people are making business because the influx of people going to that area is much. And you know, when people are going to a certain area, that is business. People who have shops, people who have hotels, they're making some money. But also, you know, they made some roads, what they call the oil roads, the improvement in infrastructure. That's also a plus, especially in the Alberton region. You know, they have been working on the airport. That is also a plus. Then, you know, when these companies come, there is what they call corporate social responsibility. Some companies have been helping the communities on schools. They have been helping on the issues of the health centers and others. So that is on part of their corporate social responsibility. Some people have been benefiting. Okay. And then the other opportunity is when people were removed from Kabale, there was compensation. And compensation during that time was okay, because they compensated an acre of land between 8 to 10 million. So that was a fair deal. 8 to 10
million. That is fair, because if you're talking that, if you're speaking that still up to now, it is between 8 to, from 8 to million.
But now there is a challenge on that, because there is what we call the EACOP, the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, which is going to, I think, in about 8-9 districts.
Yes, please.
Beginning from Hoima, Chikube, and some other districts in Greater Masaka. I'm talking about the side of Uganda. Okay. Now, where it's going to pass, people are going to be compensated. But now, what I'm getting is that they are going to compensate people, and an acre of land goes between 3 million. So we have been, that's the challenge. People are wondering, why are you giving people 3 million and the other compensation was 8 to 10 million? So that is the challenge, especially when it comes to compensation. And the compensation has delayed. It has been going on for some time and people have not yet got their compensation. So the money is small, people have not got it, and there is
Do you think it's an issue of government budgeting? Because when we look at the recent hopes coming in from even the budget, about 200 billion being, put in hope for, getting from oil activities, the 200 billion. So for me, I see that there is a loop in the government budgeting. That's why there are low costs now in regards to, compensations. How better can we improve this?
I don't know who to blame on that, because recently the president of Uganda signed an agreement, a tripartite agreement between the government of United Republic of Tanzania and also the companies. And the arrangement is that I think most of these activities are going to be supported by companies, but also the government is going to put 15% from these activities. So I think there have been slow activity, I think, due to funding challenges. But as you are saying, since the government has interest, it would put money, especially in the compensation, so that these activities go faster.
Okay, very well. And then there are advocates, there are people like you who speak in favor of the people even. There are still other advocates who came up, that is a month ago, with the social licensing operation. Have you heard of it? The social licensing operation that is being advocated by Crystal Advocates for the regions around Bunyoro regarding the oil. People have to know what is going on even before all implementations come, on table.
Actually, we also support that.
You also support, you're in support of the social licensing operation.
We actually support what is called community agreements, development agreements, whereby the companies come in and sign agreements.
Yes.
There could be non-binding agreements with the communities, but it spells out what these companies are doing and how the communities are going to benefit. And that agreement would be ratified by even the Attorney General. So after discussing with the communities where those activities are taking place, then the Attorney General looks at it so that it becomes binding.
In those agreements, Robert, what are we looking out for that could really be important to the people here in this case?
Yeah, in this case is, for example, when it comes to the issue of corporate social responsibility, the company should not come and say, we are giving you a school. The communities should come with their list of needs, and then the companies should be responding to those needs. That's, for example, number one. But there could also be, for example, some impacts. If, for example, you are making a road, you have cut trees, are those trees going to be cut? If you are doing activities and it's going to destroy the water, how are you going to cater for those communities to get clean water? If there is going to be a disruption, for example, on the social part of it, as you are saying. When you have an activity, for example, I know those areas, definitely there would be some disruption in families, because when you have very many people going, some marriages are going to break. The sexually transmitted diseases are going to increase because of the increased activity in the area. So, for example, how are you going to help people? The issues of HIV. Now we are talking about the issues of...
the population is going to increase around those areas.
Yes. Now we are talking about the COVID-19, where we are talking about social distancing and all those. How are you going to help people with this disease that is going to be around for some time? So the social challenges we are talking about. So all those ones need to be talked about in those agreements on how the communities are going to benefit. But also, for example, if you are going to supply some of the products, like eggs, like fruits, like
the
tomatoes.
People in business now.
Yes, can you give an opportunity to these communities so that you don't buy from Kampala? You can even build the capacity of these communities to be able to supply for these products that can be good from the region. You don't have to buy everything from Kampala, or you don't have to buy mushrooms from South Africa.
And that is very
when those things can be supplied locally.
I understand that.
So the community development agreements, what you are calling the social license, is very important, especially for the communities, because they are the ones who are going to face the immediate consequences. If they are both negative, they are the ones going to suffer. So there should be an arrangement, because we know there is this issue of royalties, where the communities, according to the oil law, which provides that the communities should be getting, I think, is it 20% of the royalties, which goes to the districts, I think the 12 districts, and also to the kingdom.
Okay, which drives me to another concern from the public, because what we have been happening, government has got different agreements with different, I can say, states or countries when it comes to pursuing or doing different projects around the country. For example, if I might give an example, for example, construction, we see when companies come, I can say most of the percentage of employees we see on the road are maybe Chinese, or we see people of, I don't want to say people of color really, but people who have come to implement on that project or to pursue it, they tend to overshadow the locals around. In these agreements, or even what you are reaching out to towards oil in the country, are you looking at that? Yeah. How communities are being overshadowed by the employment opportunities that these people are having. They tend to bring in their porters. Is it the issue of unskilled Ugandans?
No, I think
the issue
I think
here?
I have been having issues on that, especially when it comes to local content. I know the parliament passed what they call the Local Content Act, which provides how citizens should participate in business. But we should strengthen that such that when these companies are coming, one, if they are coming to do re-registration with the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, I think there should also be a law in the company law. It should be reviewed so that if you are registering a company here, if a company is registered outside and you are registering it, I think Ugandans need to have shares. So that when it comes to sharing the profits, but also when it comes to employment, when it comes to supply of goods and services, the local companies need to benefit.
And we will continue from that, Robert. Let's take a break, but when we return, we're going to continue exactly from addressing that concern that has been there and people are greatly complaining about it. Okay. We take a break and our discussion continues right here on SMB.